right, how's everyone doing tonight? Tonight is going to be a little bit of mix of audio, video, and for those of you that are interested in watching the video that I'm going to be showing, you can check us out on Edzilla45 on YouTube. And for those of you who just want to hear the audio, that's fine, but know that there is video playing behind it. So if you don't understand something, leave it in the comments and I might be able to help you. I might be able to answer your question. If not, just enjoy. First of all, I'm going to give you a little breakdown of where we're at and a little history of the place. And we'll go from there. So we are investigating the Lake County Sheriff's House and Old Jail. That is in Crown Point, Indiana, and it was the primary jail for that county until 1974. It was built in 1882, and the front part of the building was the sheriff's residence. So he and his wife and family lived in the front, and there's conflicting stories, and I don't know which is true, which isn't. The first story says that there were 6 cells, and I believe that the person that runs the place said that there was 6 initial cells. However, if you go on to the internet and check it out through Google, it says that there was 10 cells, and the 10 cells housed 6 cells for men and 3 or 4 cells for women. I believe that the person said that the ones that run the place said that at one point men and women were housed together, which I'm sure didn't turn out to be a good idea at some point. You know how that can work out. So I'm want to believe that the latter, the 10 cells, either was added later on or slightly after they figured out that housing men and women together wasn't such a good idea. But either way you look at it, that wasn't too many cells for an entire county. I know the population in 1882 probably wasn't all that great, but still, a bar fight, that can involve 10 people right there. And I know just from experience that at one point in our history, we didn't concern ourselves too much with overpopulation because it wasn't that big of a deal. When I started with the Cook County Sheriff's Department, my tiers were only supposed to hold 44 inmates. However, I was counting bodies by stepping over them in the catwalk and in the day room. They used to have, I don't know if anybody's seen them before, but they call them boats. It's just a elevated plastic, blow molded plastic bed for all intents and purposes. We'd give them a mattress at when they would come in on the new, and they would take that mattress up to their housing unit and in their cell or whatever. But if we didn't have any room in a cell for them, they were in the day room. And the majority of the mates that were in the day room stayed there for the duration of their stay. We would try to get them into a cell their entire time while they're there, So if someone left, the first person in line, of course, gets the open cell. But that was still 3 men to a cell, and that's not very comfortable in those small cells. They were tiny. They basically had 2 bunks in it to begin with that were mounted to the wall. So you had an upper bunk and a lower bunk, and then the boat would go on the floor for the guy in the third man in the cell. And again, hierarchy played a big part in who went where. Usually, the guy that was there the longest, or the leader of a certain gang or something, would pick his bunk, and then the other person that was there the second longest got the second bunk, and then low man out gets the floor with the boat. And majority of the time, we didn't even have enough boats to go around. So a lot of guys were just sleeping directly on the floor. And I was counting 115 bodies every day on one tier. And the irony about all that was, usually that officer, or any officer that went to work that day, likelihood was going to be doubled up. So you would have, I worked a tier called 1L for a good portion of my time in one division. It was the first tier that I was assigned to by myself for any duration of time. When I was new into the job, you got assigned tiers, but most of the time you weren't there for what we called a 90-day rotation. So until you were there, until the next rotation come up, you were pretty much just bounced around from tier to tier. But anyway, even if you had a partner, which would have been your tier next to you, or could have been directly across from you, depending on how the layout was, if your partner showed up for work that day, more than likely your partner was doubled up on another set of tiers. And so that's 2 officers to 4 tiers. And 1L, like I said, was supposed to hold 44 bodies, and 1K, which was directly next to it, was only supposed to hold 40 because of the layout. N tiers always had a couple more bodies. But yeah, so every day for close to two years, maybe longer, it really went by quick because of how busy you were. But so every day, there was a good chance that I was going to be counting over 230 bodies on my tiers. That included doing the paperwork for every one of them, because on both tiers you had to do a tier sheet. You had to write down the inmate's name and the inmate's number, which was 11 digits. You had to write down, most of the tier sheet had cell numbers on it, but you had to get them exactly in what cell they were. And you tried to get them according to bunk. So you had to know which bunk they were in, whether they were on a top bunk, middle, or bottom bunk, or the bed, or the floor. And then the day room, you had to mark them down, day room, and where they were sleeping, or where their bed was. The reason that, it's a safety thing. You have to know where your inmates are at all times. And it wasn't easy to keep track of. Even with a tier sheet, if they decided that they were going to go from the top catwalk down to into the day room directly, for whatever reason, you had to keep track of that. But anyway, this jail in Lake County, even after its original build, and its renovations only went up to just over 150 inmates. Heck, I can do that blindfolded. And I did it, every day for, it was probably closer to 4 years before the numbers started to drop, and we got to see any type of relief as far as numbers. But you were still pretty much forced to do a double every day. So even at your best day, even if your tiers were at numbers that were supposed to be at, you're looking at anywhere from 84 to 88 inmates just on 2 tiers. And you got your comeuppance in that time. And that was when, I'm not patting myself on the back because I'll break my arm doing it, but I'll tell you what, that's when you separated the men from the girls and the boys, and women from the men and the men from the women, and you know what I'm trying to say. You separated the adults from the children. Let's put it that way. This way we cover both and all sexes and the lack thereof, what have you. But yeah, it was an adventure. So I would gladly work at the time at this Lake County, and that was only in one division in Cook County Jail. That division held 996 inmates, and there was another sister division that was just like it, same amount of inmates, 996. Division 1, I believe they held I think it was 888 or 1,000, somewhere in there. Division Division 10, I want to say they were close to 900 or to 1,000 inmates. Division 9, the same thing, 1,000 inmates. And we had Division 11, and I believe they were, again, around 1,000 inmates. These are just close numbers. Like I said, I do know Division 6's numbers because I was responsible in the security office for keeping track of that, and in sanitation and food and everything else. You get to know the numbers real good for each division that you work at. But anyway, so yeah, even at their highest amount, they weren't even comparable to Cook County, one division. So the building was built in 1882. The original building was 6 to 10 cells, we're going to say that way, and the sheriff's residence. Later on, when they did the upgrade, and they did it in 1909 and 1924, they did additions to it, and then the residence was turned into offices opposed to the sheriff actually living there. Even with the sheriff living there, he was not solely responsible for the jail. He had a jailer and a matron. They were the ones that took care of the inmates and the feeding of them, and the jailer had deputies below him as well as the sheriff. So the sheriff is responsible for the entire county. So he has to be out on patrol, or she has to be out on patrol, and taking care of that business while your jailer is taking care of the business inside the jail. Well, one of the sheriffs lost his life to a shootout, and his wife took over the responsibility of sheriff. And in doing so, she was touting that her jail was inescapable. Well, it's just like the Titanic, unsinkable. Well, we know all what happened to the Titanic, and so one of the I'm just going to say one of the escapes, because I'm sure there was either attempts or more escapes since that point. Because I worked at Cook County, and you would think that that would be a secure place, but we've had, while I was on the job, 18 years, we had, I know of 3 escapes and a few attempts. So that's just one of the more secure places, and we still had escapes. Uh, Sad to say, but it happens. Humans are humans and buildings are buildings. You can only hold back somebody that wants to be held back. Someone that doesn't want to be there, they're going to find a way out. Whether it's through the front door on the legal process, or it's, underground digging dirt. Who knows? Or overtaking, powering their guards. And one of the escapes that we had was just that. Multiple men escaped at one time and overpowered the guards and got out. That being said, we did have an inmate that just dressed up in a uniform that was left in an officer's in a officer's locker, and dressed like an officer, and during shift change walked out. It's not as impossible as you think. How can an inmate just be out walking around? Well, there were several times during sanitation and during, feeds and doing the clothing room, officers would often do overtime. And instead of the new shift coming in, replacing that clothing room officer or the food officer or the sanitation officer, they would say, well, just stay in sanitation or stay in clothing or stay in food. And that's what they would do. And I'm not sure that's what happened that day. I wasn't there. The inmate that did escape was one of my trustee workers. But I wasn't at work the day that he escaped. And I only used them part time when my workers were either sick or something was going on, or we had, something big going that we needed a lot more workers. So I found out by accident that he had left. I was taking classes, and when I took the classes, you had to be physically into jail because that's where the classes were at. And if you had your day off, you had to make your way into the jail to go to class. So I show up to go to class, and I look around on the division, and there's a bunch of officers on the roofs. And that was very uncommon. We only did a roof check every once in a while, make sure that there was 1, no damage, 2, no one hiding up there. And I'm looking, seeing a bunch of my officers that I normally work with on the roof, and it was just a little strange. So one of them actually yelled down and said, "Hey, your inmate worker escaped." And I said, "Oh yeah, who's that?" And he told me, "Randy Rancher." Well, Randy Rancher was quite the criminal. He was using the place as a bed and breakfast quite a few times. And he was a frequent flyer. Sad to say, but that's the honest to God truth. He was there more often than not. He had a mental issue, and his mental issue was usually handled by medication. And if he needed to get bold for whatever reason, he just stopped taking his medication. Uh, and officers kind of knew that. And what they would do is, if they were noticing him getting a little bit rambunctious, he would, the officer, he or she would say, "Hey, Randy, get back on your meds or we're going to have some issues." And he would listen to him because he liked to work and he couldn't work when he was in a bad way. So, he would usually listen to the officer. Well, he practiced at the art of learning to be off his medication and still acting like he was on it. And the longer he did that, the better he got at it. And of course, he knew by being a worker, at some point during shift change, he's going to be out. A lot of times, too, what officers would do if the day's officer used him for work, the afternoon officer would use him for work. And instead of bringing the inmate back to the tier to be, counted, that clothing room officer or that food officer or sanitation officer would call in the count. I've got 5 inmates. Okay. It's not the easiest way and it's not the proper way, but there's a count. Okay, this tier's missing 3 inmates, that tier's missing 2 inmates. We got 5 inmates down in the clothing room. That's the numbers that we're looking for. So we'll run with it. Sometimes you just, it just didn't work out where they would end up going back to their tier. Well, that's when he took advantage of it. And he was apparently cleaning out the locker room and found an officer's locker that had a uniform in it, and the officer was on vacation, so that's why his uniform was there. It should not have been, and yes, he did get in trouble for that. And rightly so, because we're not supposed to leave our uniforms anywhere. But Randy went in and broke into the locker. He was breaking into all the lockers to find out which one had it. And it was finally time that he found one. And he knew, somebody's going to leave a uniform or a shirt or, the thing is, you had extra uniforms there in case of an emergency. In other words, hey, you had blood, someone threw up on you, someone threw stuff at you. You always wanted to have an extra uniform laying around to, change into. They frowned upon civilian uniforms, civilian clothing for uniforms. That didn't work out very good. So, you would leave one in your locker. But at the end of the day, or, what have you, you're supposed to take it home. And a lot of officers just didn't do that. But the officer that he got the uniform from, he walked out with a group of officers from the day shift. And before we knew he was gone, he had already robbed 2 banks. Not thinking about the consequences for himself with that, because before he did that, he was only on local charges. And after he robbed the banks, now he just made it federal. So now, instead of only Cook County looking for him, now he's got the feds looking for him. So with a combined force and with a lot of officer information from, all the officers that he worked for, myself included, through interviews, this, that, and the other, and talking to inmates that he worked with, and knowing his background, they were able to track him. They never lost sight of him, and they followed him to a southern state. I forget which state it was. I'm not sure if it was Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, but one of those states. And they waited for him to get comfortable. And I want to say it was between 1 and 2 months that he was gone. So he got a little break from jail. But unfortunately, he got caught, went into a federal holding facility, and then committed suicide. Not the best out, but he was looking at time. He was looking at he was looking at life anyway. So I guess that's, what he thought in his head. It was the best outcome for him. I'm not in that wheelhouse with that, but, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. But anyway, so the big escape from the Lake County Sheriff's Department was the escape of John Dillinger, of all people. He reportedly fashioned a gun out of a washboard. I have a problem with that. One, how are you going to carve it unless you've got a knife? And at that point, why do you need a wooden gun when you got a knife? So I'm not on board with that. I am on board with that he got a hold of somebody's gun and used it and escaped that way, because there were hostages that were locked into cells. There were officers. There were, I forget who else was, I can look it up real quick. But yeah, he, on March 3rd, 1934, John Dillinger made his escape. He had 14 jailers locked up, including the Warren and a fingerprint expert. Don't know why, maybe just because that fingerprint expert was there at the time. A fellow prisoner and 2 hostages. He made his escape over the state line into Illinois in the sheriff's car. If that's not embarrassing enough. The car was parked out in front of, obviously, and he went out and easy pickings. And so, yeah, he used the sheriff's car for that to get away. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was not out in front of the jail. It was in a garage north of the jail getting repaired. So obviously the service was done and ran fine because he got him all the way to Chicago. Now that, again, was January. No, I'm sorry. That was March 3rd. And July 22nd of that same year, Dillinger was shot and killed by FBI agents out in front of the Biograph Theater in Chicago after attending a movie. And he walked out and the feds gunned him down. Now, I've been to the Biograph Theater. I've done an investigation there. And really didn't come across anything at that time. But it was on a tour, so you really didn't have a whole lot of time to do it. And so I didn't get anything. But however, there was the location that I guess he finally dropped and fell was by a telephone pole in the alley. And supposedly there were bullet holes and bullets still left in the telephone pole. Now, my father worked for the telephone company, and I'm pretty sure that that telephone pole did not exist when we went there. I'm sure, being that this was 1934, I'm pretty confident that uh, telephone pole had been changed at least 2 to 3 times. Uh, I'm probably leaning towards 2, but it is possible for 3. Uh, Most of the time, the telephone poles that were used were of cedar, and while they were naturally resistant to rot, they did get weather beaten and weakened. So they might not have rotted away. Plus, they had something like that on it. Creosote. That's it. The big word for today is creosote. Anyway, so they had creosote on them, but that was usually the part that went into the ground and only a few feet above that. So yeah, they did get wear out, and the part that was above ground and didn't have creosote on it would just not rot, but wither away, get soft, brittle, and snap. So they would change them. And like I said, my father working for the telephone company, I know that because I had to chop plenty of them for firewood. He'd bring home all the used ones, and he had access to every one that they ever wanted to get rid of because they're just getting rid of them. And they did make for a nice fire. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure that telephone pole that they're talking about wasn't there anymore, but people continue to pick away at it. They take slivers of it off, as a souvenir, and think, oh, John Dillinger died here. This is his telephone pole that he landed on, and well, no, it's probably not. Pretty good chance that it's probably been changed since I've been there. So, with that, I'm going to move along and let you know that Lake County, Indiana, is also known for another gangster. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. I have not until this investigation. His name is James Fur Sammons, and he was a hitman for Al Capone. He was known throughout the gangland circles as a psychopath. He was a career criminal from the age of 16, and he was finally arrested for the last time November 3rd, 1933, while he was drunk at Cedar Lake. Good place to be drunk. He became a resident of the old Lake County Jail November 6, 1933, until his conviction on November 31st of that same year. That's a fast turnaround. I have a family member in jail that has been in jail since October of last year and isn't even halfway through the case yet. And it's a frivolous case. Someone is lying on someone else, and that person has to sit in jail to prove that they didn't do this when the other person is the guilty party. And what I mean by guilty, one, they're guilty of lying, and two, their rap sheet is larger than I am. So you go figure this out. And the person that is being held has, as far as I know, doesn't even have a speeding ticket to their name. Not even a speeding one, because they can't drive most of the time because of epileptic seizures. So yeah, this person does not have a background whatsoever. So you tell me what's right and right, and we'll go on from there. So this guy, James First Simons, didn't do anything other than live there for a bit, but he's another big name out of Lake County, which wasn't a big jail. So, you would have a better chance of getting somebody popular from Cook County. All right, so the next step here that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play. I hope I'm going to play some video from the investigation that we conducted at Lake County, and this was just a few weeks ago. Very fun, very short, but it was a good run test for two new investigators that we added to our roster. We were short a few investigators from our team. We're missing 4 that I can think of right off the bat. Matt, AJ, Tim, and Chris were unable to make it, but we did add 2 new ones to kind of fill the space and give them a shot. Now, the other 4 people, 2 of them are civilians and 2 are first responders for most intents purposes. One's a officer with the Chicago Fire Department and upper rank, hence officer. And the other one does work for the city, and I don't remember the capacity, but has to show up in emergency situations. But anyway, so we added 2 more civilians. Kind of mixes up the balance a little bit from everyone being first responders. And we added one of them is a female. Her name is Michelle, and which adds a balance because, I mean, for the most part, this team was nothing but testosterone, 100%. So, yeah, we added a female to the roster, which is very nice to offset all the males and bring something new to the team. It seems that a lot of activity seems to happen to females. It's, I guess, completely understandable. Females, although I have been touched, Dave's been touched, females tend to get touched more. Again, understandable. Their hair gets pulled. Again, really understandable considering the most hair I have is on my face. So, yeah, that again is understandable. Plus, not that women can't be intimidating, but they are less intimidating during just normal conversations. Some women can be real intimidating, and I have worked with them. But it gives us a nice balance. She isn't afraid to ask questions, and I don't mean that to us. She would ask questions of the spirits, and she was able, she really wanted to communicate with them. She feels that she's somewhat sensitive and can feel different things. And, I don't know how many people know this, but, women can tell when the temperature changes by 1 degree. Literally, not making fun. They can literally tell a 1 temperature degree change. Men, it's usually around 4 to 5 degrees before they notice it. Women can notice 1 degree. So, with that, they are naturally automatically more sensitive than guys. So that, again, it's another benefit that we didn't have before. Yes, we've had females with us on investigations, but we didn't have any that were actual team members. So this is nice to have a team member that we can kind of, I don't want to use the word groom so much as, it's easier to break somebody in new and says, that hasn't come from a different team and know their ways. And she was able to mix right in with us because this is how we operate. This is what we do. Not that other teams do things wrong. It's just they do it different. And it's not a bad different. It's just different. And sometimes that creates a little bit of hecticness, if you will, until you can understand each other or adapt to each other's ways. So she didn't come in, neither one of them came in with any previous knowledge of other teams' work. I mean, you can watch it on TV and, guess, but that was a nice addition. Mikey had to come in and learn all the cameras because neither one of our video techs were able to make it. So Tim and AJ both work in TV. So, they're very knowledgeable when it comes to the television. So we were missing that. So Mikey, on the fly, had to figure out how to. He's not technically challenged like I am, not even remotely close. This kid was born with, cameras and phones and stuff in their hands, and so it came fairly easy to him. He is a techie. He's a gamer. So these are all things that he loves and enjoys. He loves the social media stuff, so that's going to help us out. He loves the technical end of things, really going to help us out. Again, if it wasn't, I have knowledge in cameras, but I wouldn't have been able to pick up the camera that he did and figure it out that fast. But I've been around cameras. I was a professional videographer for a long time. So, I do have that experience, but those are old school cameras, nothing like they are today. And he was able to pick up, never handling that camera before, or any camera for that matter. He was able to pick it up and operate it for us to get us through the evening. Kudos to both of them for the great work that they did. But I want to show you some video footage, and I have a little situation. I forgot where I was at just that fast. One little text and threw me all off the deal here. But anyway, boy, did I fall off the farm. Where'd I go? Anyway, the investigation, the video that I'm going to show, I can't hear. I don't know why. I've tried several different ways, but you should be able to get the audio. I did test it that way, and the audio did come through. So the first part is me kind of explaining, the jail, and hopefully if we have enough time, I can get to a second part that shows you inside the investigation. If not, there will definitely be a part 2 and quite possibly a part 3. But for right now, I'm going to try to bring this up, and hopefully you guys will be able to see it, and we'll go from there. I don't know if it's going to work out, but right now I am bringing it up, and hopefully it will show up eventually here. I don't see it. I don't know where it's at. And we're going to try this one more time here. I don't know why I can't bring it up. And I find it. It's just not showing up in the window. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is this, and just bear with me for a second. I'm going to do this again, and click on it, and click on it. I don't think you need to know all my steps, but of course, for me, nothing seems to be
All
working.
right, so
Oh,
we
there
are
I am.
outside of the
All
old
right,
sheriff's
so let
house
me
and
figure this
jail
out,
in Lake County, uh, Indiana,
and I'm going to
and we
shut
are
up.
going to be doing a full night's investigation starting at about 7 p.m. tonight, and we'll be doing it with Dave, Ryan, Michelle, Mikey, and then the other crew. Uh, I think his name is Mark and Lewis, and one of their daughters. So yeah, we're gonna be having a good time. We're gonna be doing this from approximately, like I said, 7 p.m. till uh, probably 2 a.m. is what our time slot is. So you can actually see what this is all about. Beautiful building. John Dillinger escaped from here. Uh, I'm sure there's a lot of other profile names that were in this jail, and uh, there's a lot of history in this building. So if you hear anything while we're out here other than motorcycles, uh, don't be afraid to leave comments, like, share, follow, everything else, like I said. But if you hear something, let me know, and we'll point it out to the boss man, Dave, and we'll get it included on the evidence files. Uh, I'm really looking forward to it. Uh, this is going to be a good investigation. Heard that the last time Dave was here, there was quite a bit of activity. Shadow person was seen, and so yeah, we're looking forward to having a good investigation. Just a little bit of the outside of the building here, and we'll let you possibly try to read what this is going on. And then we have this sign here. Try to get out the shadow as much as possible. All right. So as you can see, the building is still, it's in pretty good shape. Got some beautiful architecture to it. Who would think that there's all this design in a jail building? However, me working at Cook County, Division One, in the old courthouse and everything was beautiful as well. Uh, it didn't have to be ugly, even though it held some ugly stuff on the inside. Uh, so we left a little memento here, a little rock memento. So uh, I was just informed that there is, or at one time there was a bridge that went from uh, that doorway up there over across to that doorway right there, and that was the bridge going to the court. Uh, so yeah, when the inmates had to go to court, that's how they would bring them to court without even uh, having to take them outside, similar to what uh, Cook County does. uh, at the Criminal Courts building in Chicago at 26th Street. Uh, we have tunnels that bring everyone back and forth. Uh, we can go between every division minus one uh, through the tunnel system. So I'm going to estimate there's probably 2 to 3 miles just of tunnels at the Cook County. And you make that trip to pick up the new and uh, going back and forth to different divisions without even having to leave the out get outside. So it's pretty secure, and even with all that, we've had escapes, and I can't think of any jail that hasn't had some type of an escape at least an escape attempt. Uh, I know while I was there, we had a couple of escapes, and one of them happened to be one of my workers, Randy Rencher. Uh, I worked on 3 to 11, and I would use him occasionally. Didn't use him every day, but I would use him occasionally for sanitation purposes, cleaning up, and sometimes in the laundry, uh, clothing room. I would use him, stuff like that, and he was a trustee, so uh, he was able to work all 3 shifts if somebody wanted them. Uh, and usually he volunteered, and it wasn't he wouldn't volunteer because his idea was to escape uh, at first. It was later on that he decided that he wanted to use that as a way of finding out on how to escape. And I'm not so entirely sure that it wasn't put into his head that he should do that. Uh, and to be honest, I don't remember what he was in jail for at the time. He was a frequent flyer, but he what he did was gain the confidence of everybody, and by the way you do that is by getting your work done, doing a great job, being noted as a great worker, and more officers, looking for workers. They can they'll pull you out because they want you to. They want to look good to themselves, say I got a good worker and getting the work done that needs to be done throughout the entire jail or the entire division, and they will often work sometimes 3 shifts if they want, just to get out of their cell. Uh, so that's not very uncommon. So what he did wasn't very uncommon at all. It was pretty much all common, and so you know that was how he worked his way out of the jail. And uh, what he did was found an officer that went on vacation, went into the locker room because they were brought in there anyway to clean up the locker rooms and everything else. Broke into the locker, stole the uniform, and walked out with the rest of the officers leaving that shift. It wasn't until several counts later uh, on the 3 to 11 shift that, after doing recounts about 3 or 4 times, figured out that he had left the building. And by the time they had figured it out, he had already robbed 2 banks and was downtown Chicago. Uh, he went on the run. Unfortunately for Randy, uh, he thought he was ahead of the law enforcement. However, because of all his talking and other inmates knowing about his plans, or what he, not his plans, what he used to do while he was out in the world. Uh, Through investigation, they got so much information on him, all his hangouts and everything else, and they never lost sight of him. They could just never catch him right at the right time. Uh, and what I mean by that was they knew where he was at, they knew his locations just about every step of the way. And I don't remember if it was Georgia or Alabama. Uh, they finally made the arrest, and the reason they waited for him to get comfortable. He figured that he was already out of the uh, Chicago long enough, and figured he was able to go freely wherever he wanted. And I believe he went into a bar, and that's where they took him when he was in having a few drinks. Uh, I believe that's the story. At least that's what I remember. That was years ago, and but I know it was a public place that they had gone into and finally took him in. Uh, but anyway, so I'm sure that this jail has seen its uh, escapes and escape attempts, especially with John Dillinger being here, the most famous, probably the most famous inmate at this jail. So, uh, in a little bit here, we will be doing the full out investigation. And in the meantime, I'm going to get ready. Uh, so, uh, I will be putting this up. As you can see, Ryan's doing a business call right now. And the rest of the team is getting ready up on the porch, waiting for the people to arrive to open it up and let us in. And a little bit of there's investigator Mikey, there's the big boss man David, and investigator Michelle, and the investigator Skeleton. Very important team member. Yeah. Really thin. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in a bit.
All right, so that ended that, and sorry about the little delay. I got sidetracked. Anyway, yeah, that was just a little history and a little bit of the outside. So now I am going to try to find a little bit of the inside, and hopefully that works just as well. And then I think that will be it for today. Not 100% sure, but we'll see. Uh, don't know why this stuff doesn't want to show up right away when I click on it. Let's see what happens. All right, there we go. And we have started. So a few minutes into this, and we'll go from there. If you notice, we are wearing, well, I'm wearing my uniform shirt, one of my uniform shirts. Dave, the leader, is also wearing his CPD shirt. And I had a hat, and I had uh, I had a I had shackles and handcuffs, and Dave had handcuffs and a nightstick. Uh, I gave my nightstick, which was an old style nightstick that a little bit shorter than Dave's, but just as hard. Works just as well. It was the old Irish style, billy club. Uh, and I gave that to Michelle, and as you can see, Michelle is wearing Dave's police hat. Uh, and you can see the nightstick there just dangling from Michelle's arm. And Dave's going to be waking the people up right about now.
Guess who's here? I'm back. I heard a lot of stories about you guys. Glad they brought me back. I'm a Terminator. Johnny boy, I got a present for you.
And your hillbilly friends, too.
Dave walking out with the group. Someone left their cell phone. I don't know if that's purposely or. Yeah. Who's that Wi-Fi? Who do we have here today? We have this new female officer.
That's right. This is my fucking house now.
Oh man, I wouldn't want to deal with her. You guys are in trouble.
I don't want any fucking around. I don't want any fucking with each other. And I enjoy rats.
She's the kind of mom you like to bring home to mom, doesn't she? And you, I've been waiting for you.
Come out of that bunk.
Let's everyone come out. Step out of the cells.
Shake down.
You know the drill.
Line it up. Take it out.
Take what out? I'm a little bit nervous about that one.
Out to the yard.
Out to the yard. There's something going on with my left leg. With my ankle. Someone messing with my left leg? About my left ankle? All right. We're gonna toss the cells over here. John, if you're in here, you better put away that wooden gun. I'm gonna crack your skull with my stick. Motherfucker. It must have been this, but I thought something grabbed my right shoulder, made me jump. John, you killed a couple of my coworkers back in the day. What's that to me, this guy? Right here. That's why. Alright, you're in there, follow us down. I want everyone in this room.
Everyone to the day room now.
Got guard Mike here. He's gonna do an inventory, check you out, if it counts. You ready, Mike?
Line it up for the count. Let's go. I ain't playing.
You don't have all day here.
Single file. On that head count. Want to get chow? Bring it out. Let's go.
Can you believe? You got Mike here, originally from Cook County, Chicago PD. You guys were acting like animals and they called us out here. Talking about me being the new warden here. How would you like that?
There's a new sheriff in town, and it's Sheriff Dave.
What do you feel about that? How do you feel? Remember me? You're back for the visit? I had Officer Perry with me that was crushing skulls. Does anyone need medical attention? We have a paramedic standing at the end there.
Come on, you guys are wusses. You're not saying anything. By now, I'd have been in a fight already.
Come on, ladies, man up.
You need to go in some skulls.
I agree. I agree.
Toss a cell or two.
Like, actually, I think that was it.
Use that Billy.
Feeling all that much down here. Did y'all run away? Are you scared? Because you're either scared.
Too much CPD here.
Right. You're either
That's me
scared.
laughing.
Or you only come out. That was me. Or you only come out when you think you can do the scary. And you know what that means, right? That means you're pussies. And I don't like that. So I dare you to fucking come say some shit to my face.
That's not paranormal.
Right.
I wonder if that's what we heard when we were upstairs.
That's a good call.
No,
No? Okay.
that would be kind of far away.
Yeah, but the way the sound was traveling, that's what made it sound possible. Alright, if you want to wait for us to leave, we have these little balls for you to play with. Because that's all you can really do all day is play with dolls.
I just set it on the left.
Come on, Dillinger, you're a big badass. Let's go. Take me on. You can fight all these Indiana coppers all you want. County must have got you scared. You couldn't even write on the wall in here. Chicken shit.
Aren't you guys supposed to be kind of badasses up in here? Escaping and with a wooden gun?
I dare you to try taking this one. Got 10 rounds that this ain't different. Joe, are you here?
Mikey, can I get your IR to move closer to you, real quick? Do you want me on my side or?
You guys want to do anything? So, want to try to do an EVP session in here before we move on, or what do you guys think?
I feel like you guys stirred up enough.
We worked last time, so hopefully we got some voices. I don't know about in here, but in the other areas.
Did you put a stationary?
I have not yet. Would you like me to go put one in there?
Put it in his room.
Language, everyone, please let us know.
EVP recorder inside a villager's cell. What? Alright, you guys want to shut down and we'll do a quick slow 5-minute EVP. If it has anything, we'll just play that.
Yeah, I want to see John, Joe.
I can go that way.
Where's George? George.
Where's the key too?
You want to do it in this room or the hallway?
You do it in, y'all want to go?
Yeah, we can do it.
Damn.
You all want to go in the day room and I'll stay in the hall?
All right, so that shows that part. Just a bit over an hour into this, so I am going to definitely make this into 2, possibly 3 episodes, like I said earlier. And I look forward to it, and I hope you enjoyed what you were able to see, and if you weren't able to see it, you were able to hear it. Just a reminder, I don't do any editing of these videos. I want you right there with me, just like you were there at the investigation. I have no intention of editing any of the videos, so what you see in here is what happened right then and there, and real time. And a lot of the times, I haven't even watched the videos myself yet. That's to kind of keep the suspense going. This way, maybe you guys might see something before I do. And if by all means you see or hear something, put it in the comments. Again, we are on all the major and minor podcast platforms. We have a YouTube channel that you can actually watch the actual video. And soon, I know soon, my the company that I deal with for my RSS feed, rss.com, is going to be offering the video portion. So that will be able to go on, I think, on Apple, Amazon, and definitely Spotify. I can do that now on Spotify. It's a little bit of work, and I haven't figured out the art of it yet. I'm working on that so I can start putting the videos out there. But for you guys that listen to the podcast only part, I will let you know that our distribution is on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, RSS.com Community, Castmatic, Castbox, Castro, CurioCaster, Overcast, Pocketcast, Podcast Addict, which is one of my favorites, Podcast Guru, PodLP, Podverse. We are also on Deezer, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and TuneIn. And again, like I said, we are on YouTube in 2 forms. One under my name, Mike Whitty, and that one is just not right now, is just a sound wave format that you see. You can still hear the audio just clear, but there's no video. The video, again, is on Edzilla 45. EDZILLA 45. And you will be able to watch the entire video and whatever I put whatever I put up there. You'll be able to see that there. And I would appreciate it if you guys would like, share, and follow. We have 2 podcasts. The first one is, of course, the Not podcast with Mike, Lou, and Ed, never on topic. Check us out on all those platforms. And the second, most important, is the Not Ghost Host podcast with just me. I will be joined periodically with teammates that I work with on CPI. Check us out on CPI at cpi.com. You can see pictures and videos of our investigations there. You can see when we have worked with psychics and so on and so forth. The TV shows that Dave and Matt have done with the podcast and radio and TV shows. You'll be able to see that there. And hopefully soon the new website might even have a link to the podcast. Right now it doesn't, but I had talked to one of the developers and asked him if there was a possible way of doing that, and he assured me that there was. So that might be coming shortly. And I don't know why I'm fiddling around with my microphone, but I am, and it's driving me nuts. So please bear with me. All right. So please, again, like, share, follow, and check us out on YouTube at Edzilla45 and Mike Whitty. And hopefully see you soon. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to be out of here today, and enjoy this episode, y'all. Peace.